We all have good and bad in us, both struggle to get through. One man became tormented and divided into two. He was a kindly doctor once whose patients blessed his name. Against his will he was transformed into a ghastly frame.
It all happened in London, long before any of us were born. It was a very foggy day as Martha and Robert and their nanny, Miss Gopher, walked down the darkly lit street to the house of Dr. Oscar Jekyll, who was the children's uncle.
Now remember, be on your best behavior.
Yeah.
Your uncle does not know that you are coming.
Do you think you will be surprised?
Oh, that's not the word for it.
Have you ever met our Uncle Oscar before, Miss Gopher?
I dare say I have. It was about 30 years ago when I was just a young servant in your granny's house.
Did you like him?
Like him? Well, to tell the truth, he was a very quiet man back then. I have no idea what he will be like after all these years.
But why do we have to come here to live?
Well, your mother is ill, and he is your only relative, so here you are.
I hope he likes children.
Well, if he does not, then he is going to have to learn, won't he? Well, now you both stand up tall, and remember your manners. Here we are. I'll knock.
So the nanny knocked at the great front door. Soon they heard footsteps coming from deep inside the old house.
I hear someone coming.
I'm nervous.
So am I.
Well, you don't have to be. Your nanny is right here beside you.
The door opened, and there stood the maid. She was very tall, and her gray hair was pulled back in a tight bun. She had little eyes that always seemed to be squinting. She spoke in a very loud, strange-sounding voice.
What do you want?
May we come in?
Are you expected?
No.
Then I can't let you in.
The maid started to close the door on the nanny and the children, but Miss Gopher pushed the front door open and stepped inside.
Where is the master of this house?
How dare you?
If you don't tell me, I will find him myself.
And with those words, the nanny started to walk down the hall. She stopped in front of a door that had strange sounds coming from behind it. Miss Gopher opened the door to what must have been a laboratory.
Just who are you? How dare you come in here?
I am Miss Gopher, and these two sweet and adorable waifs are your poor sister's children. She is sick and in the hospital.
And what does that have to do with me?
I've been told to bring the children here to live until she is recovered.
What?
You are their only living relative. You will be notified when she can take the children back.
Oh, this is out of the question. I cannot have children running around my house. I will not have it.
Oh, but you will. Children, say hello to your uncle.
Hello, Uncle.
Mother has told us so much about you.
You must leave. I will have no time to take care of children.
You will not have to do a thing.
I won't.
No, I will be here too. I will see to it that the children stay out of your way and behave themselves. You will behave, won't you, children?
We will.
See, you have their word. Thank you, sir. Now, where are our quarters?
I don't know.
Upstairs? Oh, well, thank you. Children, follow me. I knew your uncle would be a pussycat.
Goodbye, Uncle.
What a good uncle you are.
Well, enough chit-chat now. Your uncle is a very busy man. We must not bother him.
The children, led by Miss Gopher, left the laboratory and a very upset uncle behind them. Once the door had closed, Dr. Jekyll became very angry.
I will not have it. I won't. They will spoil everything. Mildred! Mildred!
What is it, Doctor?
What is it? Don't you know?
What are you going to do about the children?
Do what can I do?
You cannot allow them to stay. Not here, not now.
Not while I'm conducting my greatest experiment, no. They will have to leave. Where did they go?
They went upstairs.
I think you better follow them. Give them the rooms, 2 of them. They can stay the night. But I think they will want to leave by tomorrow.
Just be careful, Doctor. Be very careful.
I want them out of here.
I'll give them the rooms in the east wing.
Good. It is the one with the trap door and the sliding secret panel behind the fireplace.
Ring if you want me.
The maid left the room, and the doctor was now alone.
Those children and their nanny must leave.
The doctor sat down in front of his work table. He looked at all the glass test tubes filled with brightly colored liquids.
Just when I am on the doorstep of the greatest experiment in history, those 2 children have to come here. How can I conduct my tests with them here? Now all I'll have to do is pour some of this green pasty substance into this yellow fluid, and look how it bubbles. Now I'll heat it over this candle till it boils, and then it will be ready.
The doctor worked and worked. He watched the strangely filled test tube till it began to boil. As the bubbles raced to the top of the mixture, the doctor began to smile.
And now, after 20 years of waiting, it is ready to test.
He carried the test tube across the room. He looked from the window at the world that lay outside.
Shall I try it on myself first? No, I don't know how it would react on me. But I shall have to test it on something other than a human first. But what?
As the doctor watched from his laboratory window, he saw his dog, Archie, run past the window.
That's it. I'll call Archie in and then let him drink just a little of this experiment. Then I will see how he reacts to it.
Dr. Jekyll opened the back door of his laboratory and stepped out into the cool night air.
Archie! Archie, come on, boy! Oh, there you are, boy. Come, step inside, out of this cold air. Come on, my friend.
The German shepherd followed his master into the laboratory.
Now, Archie, I want you to drink this. He doesn't like the smell. I'd better put it into his milk bowl in the corner. There. Now, drink your milk, boy. That's it. Drink up all your milk. Good boy. Now I will have to wait and see what happens.
The moments ticked by very slowly. Then the dog looked up at the doctor and let out a mighty bark. Then the bark began to change.
What's happening? Your eyes are turning color. From brown to green. Your teeth, they're growing into fangs. You're changing into some strange creature.
The dog grew about 5 feet, and it slowly changed into a monster.
Stay away, Archie. My experiment is wet. I've changed a creature into another being. Now, will Archie ever change back?
The dog began to growl and ran wildly all through the laboratory. He knocked over chairs and tables and glass bottles. All the noise that brought the maid to the door. She found it locked and started to knock on it louder and louder.
Let me in, Doctor. What's happening?
Unlock the door!
Sounds as if you're in trouble. I'll open the door with my key.
She unlocked the door and opened it. She stepped into the room.
Doctor, what's happened? Your laboratory's all... Oh, what kind of a creature is that over there?
Close the door. Do not let it get out.
The wild dog was too fast for the maid. When he saw the open door to the room, he ran for it.
Let him out or run wild through the house.
He rushed past me, Doctor. What was that
I'll
creature?
explain it to you later. Right now, we have to get it back into the lab before he wakes the children and their nanny.
So the maid and Dr. Jekyll began their search. Now the wild dog had run up the stairs and was standing in the hallway outside the children's bedroom. Robert heard a strange whine, and he woke up his sister.
Martha, wake up.
What's wrong, Robert?
I heard a strange whine outside our door.
I don't hear anything.
Listen. Shh. Maybe it will happen again.
And it did. A horrible howl came from the other side of the door.
There is something out there, Martha.
Do you want to open the door and look?
I don't know if we should.
Should we wake up Nanny?
Oh, no. You know her. She could sleep through anything.
Even a sound like that. Listen, something broke outside the door.
I'll open it and look.
We'll both open it at the same time.
Very slowly, the two children creeped over to the closed door. Just as they were turning the knob, there came another howl.
You know, Robert, I'm a little frightened.
Don't worry, so am I. Maybe it's a monster out there.
There's no such things as monsters. That only happens in storybooks.
They once again reached out for the doorknob, and as they did, they heard a snapping sound.
I think we better keep our door shut.
No, it will be better if we open it and find out what is out there.
Now, as they slowly opened the door, the dog began to change back to his normal self. The effects of the experiment were wearing off.
Now, we'll take a look. Oh, it's just a dog.
He looks friendly enough. But But look at this hallway. It looks like a great wind has blown through here.
Downstairs, the doctor and the maid heard the children and ran up the steps calling,
What's wrong? Why are you both up so early? Why, there is my dog. I've been looking all over the place for him.
Doctor, he looks all right to me.
Quiet, Mildred. Hi, Archie. You know you should not be running around the house.
We heard terrible sounds coming from out here.
We opened the door and found this dog at the door. But look at the hallway.
It looks like it was all ripped apart.
Yeah.
Worry, children. Mildred will have it as good as new by morning. But, where is your nanny? Why isn't she here?
Well, Uncle, once she falls asleep, the whole house could fall on her, and she would sleep right through it.
You two better get back to bed.
Good night, Uncle.
We'll see you in the morning.
the children returned to their room. Once the door was closed, Dr. Jekyll turned to his maid.
It was fortunate that the dog returned to its normal ways before the children saw him.
But look at the house. It has ruined so many things.
Well, Mildred, if you did not open the door, then Archie would not have escaped. I'll put Archie back into the lab, and I'll help you clean up this mess.
All night long they worked. By morning the hallway was as good as new. At breakfast, the children were filled with stories about the adventure of the night before.
Must have been children, please, you are both talking at once.
Well, you know children, they have such strange imaginations.
But it happened. We really thought that there was a monster outside our room.
A monster. Not really.
When we opened the door, the hallway was all torn apart, and there was an old dog standing in front of our door, and we
You
opened
must
it
have
up.
had a nightmare, children.
But we didn't. You told us not to worry about the mess.
Mess? What mess? You saw the hallway this morning. Was there a mess when you left your rooms? No. I can tell you that there was no mess. Oh, children, you both were dreaming.
That's what it must have been then, a bad dream.
How could we have had the same dream?
Well, it is possible for two children, especially brother and sister, to dream the same dream.
Now, children, finish your breakfast. We'll have no more talk about monsters and hallways that are all torn apart.
What will you do today, Uncle?
I have lots of work to do today. I must go to my laboratory.
Oh, can we come too?
No, it is no place for children.
Your uncle is right. Now, for a while, I want you both to do a little studying. You must keep up with your schoolwork.
Whatever you say.
Then I'll see you at lunch.
With those words, the doctor left the room. Then the nanny stood up and said,
I think I'll take a walk around the grounds and see if there are any flowers that I can cut and bring in here to cheer this old place up. Now, children, don't get into any mischief. We will meet in the library in 1 hour.
I'll be there.
Me too.
When the two children were left alone, Robert said,
It was not a dream.
I know it happened.
But why did Uncle try to say that it was only a dream?
You know what I'm thinking?
Something strange is happening around here.
I wish we were back home.
But we aren't. Let's try and find out what is going on.
But we might get into trouble.
We'll just be very careful. We'll try to find out what this monster really was.
Well, all right. Where shall we begin?
Upstairs. We'll look for some clues as to what was going on outside our room.
So up the stairs went the two children. Now all this time, the doctor was in the lab trying to straighten it up.
The potion changed the dog for just a little while into a horrible creature. I wonder what would have happened if I tried it. Would I have changed into something else, and how long would it have lasted? I shouldn't try it, but in the name of science, I know that I will.
As the doctor was cleaning up the room, the door opened very quietly and the maid entered the room.
Doctor, the children are snooping around upstairs.
What are they looking for?
I heard the boy say he was looking for clues about what happened last night outside their room.
What could they find? But they must be made to leave.
But how?
Tonight I shall drink this fluid that I have created and see what will happen to me. Then I shall go to their rooms and scare them so that they will want to leave this house at once.
It may not be safe for you to try it.
I will not find out until I try. Call Dr. Henderson and his assistant. I want them to come here tomorrow. I want them to know about my experiment and what I have been doing.
Do you think that is wise? They might steal this idea from you. They've done it to you before.
Don't worry. I will have my revenge on them tomorrow. They stole my greatest discovery and called it their own. Tomorrow they will be sorry that they did that to me 30 years ago.
It was so long ago, Dr. Jekyll.
It was a lifetime, but I still remember. I told them that I would have my revenge, and now I will have it. They have forgotten what I told them years ago. They will be a little surprised. But first, we have to get rid of those children.